Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are before you in your homes, in your cars, and once again, it's political affairs. For some time now, we've been experiencing some coup d'états in the sub-region, and to our surprise, Guinea-Bissau, there has been a failed coup attempt. Today, we want to look right into that, and then also look at the e-levies. It's so unfortunate that coup d'états are just springing up in the sub-region, and I ask myself, what is happening to democracy? Today, our panelist is just one person, our own resource person in Ghana called Ashama Observer. He's the one who's going to take us through what is really happening in the sub region. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Martin Pettigo, and I'm telecasting live from Pennsylvania, United States of America. Right now, it is 2:03 Eastern Time, and I know in Ghana, it should be 7 p.m. And I just want to thank those who subscribed, went to Mozart Woods Media on Facebook and YouTube and subscribe. At the moment, we are celebrating our African History Month, Black History Month in the United States. And I just want to assure you all that if you tune to this program or you subscribe to this program, every Friday night and Saturday, you know much about American history. Thank you so much for all those who came in and shared love with us. And I just want to say a big shout out to Shasha Mali, who was our guest of honor over the weekend. We had a wonderful program. But for now, it's time for political affairs. Mr. Ashama Observer, how are you, sir?
Well, by God's grace, we are alive today and we are
Yes.
strong.
Yeah. I'm so excited to have you on the program. We missed you on Friday. Shasha Mali was with us, and then he took the whole place like something else. But anyway, let's go to the most important issue for the day. What is happening in the sub region? Last week, we dealt into in total on security matters in the sub region. Why recent upspring of coup d'etat? Just 2 days ago, I just read in News Times there is a failed coup attempt in Guinea-Bissau. My brother, what is going on, and what is happening to democracy?
Anyway, I would want to say a very good evening to our viewers and our listeners. As always, we will do our best to bring you the up-to-date information on what's happening in Africa and West Africa. Like you rightly said, last week we discussed these coup d'etats in Africa, and we did a bit of in-depth into it. We looked at the Malian coup d'etat, we looked at the Guinean coup d'etat, and then we also looked at the that of Burkina Faso. And so, during that discussion last week, we thought that that was going to be the last time we're going to be talking about coup d'etat, at least for now. But surprisingly, this week we all woke up to the news that there was an attempted coup in Guinea-Bissau, and we were shocked. In fact, if you monitor the media space, global media space, the BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, France 24, they were
Right.
all reporting on this attempted coup in Guinea. Before I delve into what actually we know about what happened there, I would want to give some brief information to our listeners
Okay.
about the Guinea-Bissau. A lot of people will be wondering, well, they might not never have heard about this country, Guinea-Bissau. Probably maybe they might have heard Guinea. And
Yeah.
so Guinea-Bissau, it's a sovereign state on its own. It's not the same Guinea we are talking about. This is Guinea-Bissau. We have Guinea Republic, and then we have the Guinea-Bissau. This
Okay.
country shares a border with Senegal in West Africa.
Right.
Yes, and so, and it has a population of about some 2 million plus citizens. To be precise, it has 2,041,983 population. That is the country's population. So a very small country, and largely it is referred to as one of the poorest countries in West Africa. And now its president is called Umaro Sisiko Embalo. Umaro Sisiko Embalo. He's a 49
Umaru
year
Sisiko Umbaro,
Embalo.
49 years
Yes,
old.
49 years old. Yes, he is the president of Guinea-Bissau. Now, we heard that actually on 1st of February, a coup d'etat happened where the president, together with his ministers and government officials, were actually in a government building having a meeting. And then suddenly, some armed men stormed the building, and then there was a shootout between government, military, and security persons and the armed group. And the shootout lasted for about 5 hours. So you can imagine, probably they were trying to take the president together with officials hostage, but they
5
resisted.
hours.
5
5 hours.
hours.
That's a
shootout.
long hours. 5 hours of shootouts. That's
Yeah,
deadly.
yeah, 5 hours, and so it lasted for a very long time. Out of which we are told that 11 lives were lost. That's what the government put out. The 5 hour shootouts, 11 persons were killed in that, which included some military and paramilitary
Right.
persons. And we are told that 4 civilians, including one of the agriculture ministry's official and his driver, were also killed in that shootout in the capital, Bissau. The capital of Guinea-Bissau is Bissau. And so that has been the news. I think the following day we had the ECOWAS. They held an extraordinary meeting in the capital of Ghana, Accra, over these coup d'etats. And so here in Africa, and specifically in West Africa, if you meet a group of people, 5 in a group, at least 2 are discussing the coup d'etats in Africa. It's something that we've not experienced in a very long time. It was a very common thing in the 80s and in the 90s. But from the 2000s to now, we've really not been experiencing this. So if you ask me, this was what actually happened in Guinea-Bissau this week. But fortunately, the coup was foiled. The president said he's safe. The ministers are okay. The government is running. And what they are doing now is that they've launched investigations into the attempted coup. And possibly in the days to come, they definitely will be briefing the press for us to know who were actually behind this coup d'etat in Guinea.
It's so unfortunate that as we all progress as a country, it looks like there are problems in other sub regions. Now, my question is that what was the reason for the coup d'etat as compared to what happened in Guinea and Mboya's place, or maybe Mali, in Burkina Faso? With Mali, they said the president was incompetent, right? But in this case, what was the reason for the coup?
Yes, so far we've not been given any reason as to why armed men would have to storm a government building to attempt to overthrow the president. It is not clear what actually led to this particular thing. Probably some security persons have shared their thoughts that, well, armed groups in the region are beginning to feel that, well, you can just take up arm and then overthrow the government, seize power, and the next thing, maybe AU or ECOWAS will just give you some sanction, and then you continue to be in power. We've seen that in Burkina Faso. We've seen that in Guinea. We've seen that in Mali. So it has become more like a trend. And so when it happens, definitely, if they had been successful, we will not be surprised for them to come and mention either economic reason or security reason to be the reason why they had to overthrow the president.
All right. So let's go back to ECOWAS and then AU with all their statements and pronunciations and then sanctions, so-called sanctions. What have they done apart from what we already know?
Well, for that of the Guinea-Bissau, once the president is safe, they are actually throwing their support behind the president to go ahead and do thorough investigations into the matter. They've also urged the Republic to take its security matters a bit further, to be on top of issues so we don't experience some of these things. But the chair of the ECOWAS, who happens to be the president of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, issued a statement condemning all the coup d'etats happening in West Africa, saying that it's making the region unpalatable for investments and all that. So clearly, and then they've given some sanctions to these Burkina, Mali, and Guinea. Yes, so it appears they are doing something, but as to whether what the step they are taking is actually going to yield anything positive, that we are yet to see.
Okay, this one briefly before we move to the next topic. Does it looks like we need to form a West African force like what we have in NATO that protects Europe, so that whenever there are coup d'etats and whatever that want to spring up, this force will just invade the necessary territory and then quell whatever mutiny that goes on. What is your take on that?
Indeed. It's a laudable idea, but I can tell you that for a very long time we've had what we know as ECOMOG, which is an armed group of the ECOWAS, and this ECOMOG was actually responsible for what you are calling for. So as and when there is a coup d'etat or there's some unrest in a certain country within the bloc, this military group would go in and then do its peacekeeping activities. But for a very long time now, ECOMOG appears to be, or let me use the word, that kind of military bloc appear to be on paper. And so we are really not seeing its activities, at least within the last 10 years. We've not felt the actions, but we did felt the ECOMOG action during the Liberian War. If you remember, they were on the ground. They did a lot of things where ECOWAS was there to provide peacekeeping, to protect the lives of the people. For now, we are not seeing that. But fortunately, in recent discussions with the ECOWAS and the AU, this issue is coming up again. And it is so because of funding. A lot of security experts have blamed the, let me not use the word non-functioning, but the low activity of that group on lack of finance. Because I mean, if they don't have money to go to war, to fly the soldiers and all that, it becomes difficult. So of course, these armed groups in the region, they might have also done their own intelligence and know that, oh, we don't have anything like ECOMOG functioning well to counter our activities. So when we take power, it happened in Mali, nothing happened. It happened in Burkina, in Guinea also. So the whole region, a lot of people are really not safe. They can say that they are not safe because you don't know which country would be attacked next, whether it's going to be Ghana, whether it's going to be Togo. And some of these presidents have stayed in power for so many years. So for me, won't be surprised if I wake up tomorrow morning and I hear that there is a coup attempt in Togo Republic.
Right. I would like to stay a little bit on ECOMOG. You know, I remember, yes, you just reminded me during Tas Taylor's era when ECOMOG had to put this force together to invade Liberia to bring about sanity. You realize that the field commander for the ECOMOG was General Queno, and then we have General Odubuyaro. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what I'm seeing right now, does it looks like Nigeria and Ghana are losing their position as leaders of the ECOWAS? Because, you know, if we say Ghana is the gateway to Africa, and when it comes to in terms of military might, Nigeria is the first on the continent. And if the politicians in both countries can just sit down, aloof, unconcerned, irrespective that the chairman for the ECOWAS is from Ghana, irrespective of that, looking at these two nations, does it look like they are losing their grip, their position in ECOWAS?
Yes, I think that your assertion is not far from being right, because leadership should show the way, and Nigeria being the biggest country on the continent and also the biggest country in West Africa, it has the one of the largest economies in Africa. They should be concerned about security issues. You know,
Right.
if they are not concerned about security issues, then all its investment, all its wealth one day could go up in flame.
Right.
So this is the time that the Nigerian, the big boys on the continent, especially within the ECOWAS, should up their game, at least pushing some money. I mean, when Muammar Gaddafi was there, we saw a lot of support in terms of resources to this ECOMOG and all other groups, just to protect the democracy that we practice here in this part of the world. So Ghana, Nigeria, the big boys, Ivory Coast, yes, they should be up and doing and should show much more concern about the protection of property lives through the re-energizing of the ECOMOG, so that we
Right.
can have a military that will respond almost immediately. Imagine if we had a ECOMOG functioning that same day that we heard that there was shootout that lasted for 5 hours.
Right.
ECOMOG could have moved in within that
Yeah.
5 hours.
Right.
So then the armed group will know that no, we cannot do this. So
And
if
I
there's
mean, not even moving, they could have even out a communique into the air that we ask you all to stand down, or else within 24 hours we are deploying forces there. That alone can even deter some of these things.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. So we don't have it. And so I can tell you that in the region, a lot of armed groups are coming up. And so for Ghana, I think that the intelligence should be high. And
Right.
other countries, I will urge them to have their intelligence on the ground. But what is actually pushing people to try to topple their government is the economic hardship that they experience.
Right.
So they should make policies that favor the people, not policies that favor the politicians whilst in power. Because a hungry man is always an angry man, and if you he that is down need fear no fall. When I'm down, you want me to fight you, I'll fight you because I have nothing to lose. So
Right.
the leaders should be up and doing to provide the basics for their people.
Okay. We'll be talking on trade in the SAP region. Talking on trade in the SAP region. But before that, all that is going on in the SAP region, this all of a sudden springing up of coup d'etats, do you foresee an unseen hand in charge of all these things? Proud to world politics and world trade and trade in West.
Well, monitoring the space, the media space over the last 1 month, a lot of people have suggested that, well, these coup d'etats that are happening are not just happening. Some have attributed these coup d'etats to foreign powers, that some of them are behind these coup d'etats. We've always had hardships, had the economy, whatever, but we were not seeing this kind of arbitrary coup d'etats happening like monthly basis or weekly basis. We've never seen this in West Africa.
Right.
And so why is it happening now? A lot of people are questioning, and some people who have delved into security matters, international matters, are suggesting that, well, it could be, there could be more to it than what we are seeing. It could be linked to trade. It could be
Okay.
linked to destabilizing the region for some personal interest.
Right.
So but well, we don't have any scientific data to back that for now, but
Right.
I can see that there's a lot of speculations.
Yeah, let's just dwell on the speculations. Let's just dwell on the speculation. Let's see. What's China's position in a continent? Europe's position in the continent, France's position on this continent, and the United States, and then Africa itself. What is its own position on the continent? Let's just do the speculation. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so first of all, I would want to share an opinion one expert, I will not mention the name,
Right.
actually put out this week with regards to what has been happening. China, Europe, the US, all these countries they trade with Africa. They
Right.
trade a lot with Africa. But if you know, the Africa continent is now coming up with what it calls the Africa Continental Free Trade Area or Free Trade Agreement,
Right.
where African countries are going to be trading among themselves. And statistics have shown that African countries themselves the rate at which they trade with China, the
Yeah.
Europe, and America is even higher than the rate at which they trade amongst themselves, which means that
No, repeat
uh,
that again. Please repeat that again. For
yeah. So I'm
because of
saying
my
that
listeners. Yeah.
yes, data has shown that the individual African countries, the rate at which they trade with China, Europe, America is higher compared to the rate at which they trade amongst themselves,
Okay.
which means that Ghana is trading the returns, or let me put the volume of trade that Ghana undertakes with China, for instance, is higher than the volume of trade Ghana undertakes with Nigeria or South Africa, for instance. So what the AU has done is to come up with the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is going to allow the African countries to trade amongst themselves so that the trade can remain in Africa. Now, the volume of the GDP that the ACFTA will cover is about $2.5 trillion per annum.
Okay. That's a lot.
$2.5 trillion per annum. That is the volume of trade that can happen within the bloc, within Africa, if all African countries are trading amongst themselves.
Okay.
Now, that's a whole lot of money. So, do you think that the West, China, and the rest will sit down for Africa to trade amongst itself and determine the pace? No, don't forget bauxite comes from Africa.
Right.
Cocoa comes from Africa. We have oil, we have all these things. So if for instance Nigeria needs cocoa, Ghana can supply cocoa.
Right.
Ghana needs crude oil, we can just buy from Nigeria,
Right.
and the other way around. So the money will remain within the block. So experts have actually indicated that the China will not be happy to see this Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement succeed.
Right.
The Europeans will not be, or let me say EU, will not be happy to see this agreement succeed. America and the rest, they will be pretending to be in support of it, but deep down, they don't want to see this succeed. So, what will be the best way to ensure that this implementation doesn't happen? One is to cause destabilization within Africa. If there is
Right.
no peace, there can be no productivity.
All
People
right.
cannot be productive while they are at war. So what do? You destabilize them. And a lot of people are saying that this coup d'etats that we are beginning to experience within this time
Okay.
it could be linked to the fact that the West don't want the AFCFTA to be successful. And if you put the pieces together, it's pointing to that.
Yeah.
Because as we speak, AU has sanctioned a lot of countries, and we have 54 countries in Africa. Out of
Mhm.
that, 53 they have signed the agreement.
Okay.
Apart from Eritrea, Eritrea has not signed yet, but 53 of all these African countries have agreed to trade in
Among
Africa
themselves. Okay.
among themselves. So that's huge. And out of that 53, I can tell you on authority that 26 of them, when you say I will trade, there are some
Okay.
formula that you have to come to agree to. So 26 of the countries are ready
Yeah.
to start trading. Ghana is one of the Ghana actually holds the headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade
Right.
Agreement, and 26 of these countries are ready to start trading. So
Yeah.
how if the rest come on board, a lot of revenue, a lot of the raw materials that goes to China, that goes
Right.
to the EU, will remain in Africa, and this could be a big blow to these economies. And they would not sit down to see this happen.
Okay. Let me let's look at some let's look at it from a kind of a scenario. Look, me and you are individuals. We go to seminars and then we look at certain data, and then you are able to come up with this fine theory about what might be the problem. My major problem here is that we have head of states who are prone to intelligence, who have access to informations that we do, that they can predict that as a result of the decisions we are making, the West or China may infiltrate through our people and then destabilize whatever we want to do. My question is, our head of states telling us that this information that we are just discussing, they are not aware, or they cannot even I don't know even know which word to use. They cannot even presume that this can be what is falling on our doorsteps as West Africans or African countries all over. That's why these coup d'etats are springing all over.
Yes, I believe our leaders are much, much more informed than you and I, based
Yes.
on the regular security briefings and intelligence briefings that they receive. They are much more aware. But sometimes it's difficult to foil these kind of coup d'etats. Why? Let's go back to how Nkrumah was removed from office.
Mm.
People close to him were used, you know, and in every democracy, there are people who are against you. There is a minority or there's an opposition. So they will use those weakest links to do what? To penetrate, to cause mayhem. So, like you are putting it, then it is best for all Africans to conscientize their people or each people about the possibility of the Chinese, the Russians, the Europe to try to destabilize the region. It should be a huge campaign, and a
Right.
media platform like yours
Mhm.
can take up this. That look, do not allow us to fight. AFTAC is coming. It's coming to revolutionize the way we do business in Africa. No matter how small it is, few people begin to see the light and say, well, instead of fighting, why don't we just do business and make money? If I go and overthrow president, the problem is still there.
Right.
You know, so they are very much aware, but these Western countries will always use the weakest link to get to you, and that's what they are using.
It's so interesting that as a people, we don't have a goal. As a people, we don't have a goal. Look, I was having a discussion with somebody today, and they said, "Look, I have a vision and I have a goal, but you see, your eye should be on the ball." Okay, now let me say this an analogy. I want to buy a Range Rover. Yes, I bought it, and then what is next? That is a goal. But you see, if your eye is on the ball is the long term. You realize that buying the Range Rover today is not really the thing, because after the Range Rover, what is next? So it's not just being not just becoming a president of a country, or not being a chairman of an ECOWAS, or not being the chairman of an AAU, or not being a group leader, but what is next? You see, Kwame Nkrumah was looking beyond Ghana. You understand? And today, some few years back, Gaddafi was also looking beyond Libya. He was eliminated. Now that we are blessed with cell phones and we can go on the internet and communicate, it is about time that we begin to communicate among ourselves and say, listen, this is the only continent that we have. We cannot allow anybody to infiltrate into us and then destabilize our trade. We can also build this continent for ourselves. What do you think about it, brother?
Yes, I believe that we have what it takes to build this continent even better than Europe and America. What we do not have is leadership. The leaders are not willing, they are not committed to building that cause. Of course, like some have argued, because of the kind of democracy which is being practiced here in Africa. The democracy is not anchored on foundation that can transcend political administrations.
Right.
So the democracy is such that I come to the kitchen, I come with my own utensils, I come with my own recipe, I prepare the kind of recipe I like for the people, and when I'm leaving, I take my things away. The next person also comes with his own utensils,
Right.
prepares his own recipe. We cannot develop as a continent with that
Right.
kind of approach. We need longevity. And if,
Mhm.
if if you've read history, you would know that countries which have developed were initially not practicing democracy.
Right.
Most of them had dictators,
Mhm.
and dictators dictated the pace at which they wanted to build the country.
Yeah.
But you see, democracy has been forced down the throat of Africans and developing nations.
Right.
And this has also become one of the challenges why Africa is struggling to get to that point. So I would say that instead of allowing these people come with their own utensils and things, we should have systems in that kitchen. When you're coming, you're not coming with your utensils, you're not coming with your recipe, but you are coming with a recipe that can help the people. And when another person comes, he is able to continue. But what we are doing here in Africa, it's not helping. It's unfortunate people who have seen that and were pushing the continent to go that direction have been eliminated, like you rightly mentioned. Muammar Gaddafi, Kwame Nkrumah was pushing for what? One party state. One party state means that before you become president, you go through the CPP, you go through the preparation processes. By the time you get to the top, you know the direction of the country. But these same Western powers had a hand to remove him, and they push democracy down our throats, and now it's a disaster everywhere.
Okay, I would like us to move to the next topic, but let's do just for the next 5 minutes, let's just do a little speculation. Okay, let's look at Ghana. Ghana wanted to go democratic. All right. Okay, we handpicked some few people to write the constitution. Okay. Now, there is an unseen hand that tells us if we allow these people to write the constitution like the way ours is, there is no way we can manipulate them or have control over them. So let us pay these people off. So that they'll write the constitution, so they'll give all the power to the president. So that when the president begins to misbehave over there, after his tenure, he cannot be prosecuted. Then the unseen hand that is out there will have the leeway to do whatever they want to do. Because at the end of the day, even though we have a president, he's a pauper to the unseen hand. This is just an analogy. What do you say about it, my brother?
I think you are very right, because recently I heard the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, saying that he was building an economy that would be independent. I mean, the Ghanaian economy was not going to depend on any donors, more or less, and so they gave it a name. I've forgotten the name they gave to that kind of yes. And so they said they were not going to. I mean, he had a press conference with the French leader and said that to him.
I do remember that press conference.
Yes.
Ghana is full of Ghana is something age. Is age. I don't know. I can't even remember.
Yeah, something that way. So the question is, 4, 5 down the line, have we been able to lay foundation so that we will no more depend on donors or loans? The answer is no. Why? Because as we speak, the economy of Ghana is in shambles.
Right.
They are saying that they have to push down this e-levy down the throats of Ghanaians. Even as the statistics have shown that over 65 to about 70% of the people do not want e-levy. But they are saying that the e-levy is the only way government can sustain its operations, which tells you that, like you rightly said, we just pay lip service to some of these things. So when the constitution is written, the white man, let me put it that way, the power, the unseen hands, they know that, well, we can control that single man there. They come and do all the shows for the cameras and they go, but behind the scenes, they are in control of our economy. Our hands are tight. The president cannot do much. So I think that one of the things that would have to be re-looked at should be the constitution, like you said, so that too much power is not given to the president. I mean, the power should be evenly distributed, so the unseen hand there cannot try to control, to have his way at the expense of the people. That is one of the ways that we can move forward as Africa.
Thank you so much. I want to hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Political Affairs, and we are telecasting straight from Pennsylvania, United States of America. It's almost 2:30. We are 37 minutes in the program. The program is supposed to be a 45 minutes program. Okay, our next topic is on the e-levy. Okay, there are three schools of thoughts. One school of thought says that Ghana, majority of Ghanaians have been exempted from taxes for a very long time since independence. It's only a few fractions of Ghanaians who pay taxes. There's another school of thought that if the e-levy is introduced, we're going to have everybody into the tax nest. There's also another school of thought that is saying that, well, they feel that the e-levy will not even do any good because with all the monies that the government has borrowed for all these years, they don't even see anything. And there's another school of thought that says that they believe that MPP does not have the moral right to introduce the e-levy because when Rawlings was in power and he was trying to introduce the VAT, the MPP, the incumbent now, they fought bitterly against it. That brought about the Komi Preko. My brothers and sisters, I've given you 5 school of thought. What have you got to say about it?
Yes, so the e-levy is actually being fought against now by not just a political party, not just the NDC, but businessmen who rely on electronic payment to run their businesses. So now it goes beyond just a political party standing against the e-levy. When it happened, the VAT issue you raised, it was a political party movement which
Right.
was trying to stop the passage of that particular tax. But what is different with this one is that the business community is really not happy and the political parties are not happy. The ordinary Ghanaian is also not happy because of the negativity that it will bring to bear on businesses. So, but the government believes that it is only the e-levy that can solve its problems.
Right.
People believe that, okay, all these years, all the taxes coupled with the revenues the country has generated from mineral resources like bauxite, like gold, like diamond, coupled with the loans they've collected. I mean, the debt now has quadrupled. What is there to be shown as evidence of good management of these resources? What can you show? So you don't have the moral right to come and say, okay, I want you to give me more money. The question is, what we have given you over the years,
Yeah.
show us what you have done with it. And there is nothing there to be shown. Most of this monies borrowed and taken from national coffers went into consumption. And the consumption is not even reflective on the lives of the people. It's just a way of share, loot. How do they put it? They are just sharing amongst themselves. It is not trickling down to the people. Let me give you a typical example. The government promised that they were going to give us one village, one dam. To do what? To promote agriculture, to create jobs. Go to the north. Look at the type of dams they've done and the amount of money they are quoting to have gone into the construction of these dams. Now it's Hamatan in Ghana. All the dams have dried up. The farmers do not have water to water their crops, meaning they are not being productive. So all these monies you've pushed into these things, they are not coming back. You've just wasted the money. And you're saying that the true e-levy, the ordinary Ghanaian who has just 1 acre okra farm should come and pay money for you to do what? You have not justified the monies that have been given to you over the years. So for me, watching the space, the business people, the ordinary Ghanaian, I think that the passage of this e-levy is in limbo. And if it happens that it goes through parliament successfully, it's really, really going to affect a lot of business because Bank of Ghana itself has come out to say that even the e-levy is yet to be passed, but the transactions that Ghanaians do on the e-levy has gone down about 24%.
Right.
24%, which is huge. So it means that their target revenue they are even projecting to make, 24% of that target revenue is already lost. And if it's passed, I believe that will grow to even 50%. A lot of people are not going to be using the mobile money and all that. So the question you ask, I think government must justify the reason why it has to take more tax. If we give you tax and all you do with it is to bath in the sky and say, no, you need more money, I think Ghanaians are really not ready, and they've really demonstrated that.
It's so unfortunate that a beautiful country like our country and a whole beautiful continent like Africa that feeds the whole world with raw materials. We are up for all these years. For almost how many years is Ghana now? I think 60 something years, right?
Yeah.
We still cannot manage our own affairs. It's so unfortunate. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's program, Political Affairs, coming from Pennsylvania. And I just want to say, Mr. Ashama Observer, I want to say thank you so much. Whenever we call upon you for clarity, you come in and give us the best of information. So thank you so much, Mr. Ashama Observer. And ladies and gentlemen, my name is Martin Betigo, and I'm telecasting straight from Pennsylvania. And this is Mozart Tools Media. In the United States, we are enjoying our Black History Month, and then we are looking into history, and then honor certain people who fought for this country. We're talking about Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Aretha Franklin, the late Maya Angelou, etc., etc. We will be having a special program every Friday and Saturday. Next week, Saturday, we're going to be having a professor in history in the University of Maryland, one of the universities of Maryland, who come in here and take us through the genesis, the history of the slavery that took place in America. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. God bless you. I want to say always stay tuned to Political Affairs. Please, if you're not part of the family, just go to YouTube, subscribe to Mozart Woods Media, or go to Facebook and subscribe to Mozart Woods Media. God bless you all and see you another time.